Aloha Kako. Welcome to another episode of Darkside of Hawaiian Politics 44. Mai Kapo. Aloha Kako. Hale o moko o ke ave. Hale o pi'ilani. Moloka'i a hina. Hale o kaku I hewa. Hale mano kalani po. Ko Hawaii pai aina. Let's go. Today's weather. For Moko Keawe, you got north, highs 83, lows 76. East, highs 82, lows 78. And our south tops at 80 high, low 73. And our west is our high at 92, low 83. Our sets hit Inalu, north 2 to 3. Our east 1 to 2. Our south 2. And our west 1 to 3. With that, Olelo no Eau for this week. Homework.
We'll give them some loina this week. You know, I was thinking, aloha mai kako, everybody, good morning again. Just another quick reminder, today is La 46,632 since the illegal overthrow of our constitutional monarchy here in Hawaii. 127 years ago, right? 127 years, 8 months, and 3 days to be exact. So again, La 46,632 of this occupation, of this belligerent, prolonged, illegal occupation of the Hawaiian Islands. And for us today, we want to talk about some Hawaiian values, bring it home a little bit. We'll talk about some Hawaiian words too that go with it. But for today, today's Hawaiian value from our kupuna, very important value. We have oia i'o. Oia i'o. So a very, very important concept and value and phenomena for us, right? E kolu mea nui makahonua. Oia i'o means to be true, to be truthful, factual, firm in that truth, right? Genuine, real, authentic, and so on and so forth. Yeah, oia i'o, the base word of i'o, the bones or the meat of the matter, right? The thing is for real. The bugger get meat and bones in them. And so along those lines, we also have the word ho'oia i'o, right? Ho'oia i'o, to make something oia i'o, to verify it, to check, to acknowledge it, to recognize it, right? To be real, but just to be real. Ho'oia i'o, be real, be truthful, be genuine. Because from there, we can discern the kind of aloha, yeah, and the truest types of aloha, the highest forms of aloha that we give to each other. So olelo no'eau, we also have a olelo no'eau in here that correlates number 863 in our beloved puke olelo no'eau from Pukui. He oni pa'a ka oia i'o. So along the same lines of Queen Lili'u Okalani and her motto oni pa'a. He oni pa'a ka oia i'o. Yeah, truth is not changeable. Truth is immovable. Truth is like our queen, right? Who protested the illegal occupation and petitioned the powers that be, the world powers, and held true to that conviction even after she passed from this realm and joined our kupuna and our ancestors. So we carry that value very strong with us. We know the truth of these islands, the true political status, the true mo'oku auhau, right? And we cannot waver from that oia i'o, because when we do, that's when we see the corruption come in. And last week we talked about imitation is flattery, right? That's an haole concept. Imitation is not flattery. Imitation crab meat is not crab meat, ole loa. So we cannot afford to not have oia i'o, not have aloha aina oia i'o. And when people imitate us, it's an exercise in disrespect, colonialism, right? That's what they do when they come over here and take our lands. They pretend to be us, they pretend to follow the law. And capitalism, right? It only fits that system of capitalism where they can extract stuff from us, pretend to be something else in order to dole it out and take more.
And so who is the imitation crab that we're discussing this week?
Well, there's a lot of them out there on the beach.
There's
right?
kimchi crab. There's a pa'akai crab. There's all kinds of styles, yeah, we have out there.
I mean, you start with the state itself, the de facto settler state, right? It's a fraudulent construct that forces us to buy in and assimilate. But not without people and kanaka even, right, who get tokenized, who collaborate, and who get put in positions of power and start serving these things like colonialism, disrespect, and capitalism, rather than our own kupuna values and the oia i'o from which we stand. So don't drink the Kool-Aid, right? Oni pa'a ka oia i'o, like the Queen said. Because there's a lot of imposter rastas out there.
Imposter rastas.
And, new remachinations, revising history, painting a new coating over the top of it.
Who are we discussing about? Who is this this week? This week we had an interesting conversation about how people can create, right? Creativity. Creativity shouldn't be bounded, but I think creativity should be honored.
Right,
by the host country and the host Aboriginal. It should never be compromised as a mechanism for colonialism, like you're saying. Yeah. So what we're referring to, Kako, is the
business. We got a new word. That's why this week.
It's a new word. We
learned of a new word. Here we go. So, Maka'ola.
Maka'ola, Kako. So homework. What do you before we get into the chopping block, imitation is flattering, but when we see prostitution of certain cultural significance, right? Like kuloa, right? Venus, right?
Venus, hokuloa, yeah.
Yes. So these things has a special uniqueness within our families, within our creation story. So when we hear people want to create words, want to create new context, where's the board of body that allows the creativity to be managed properly? That's kind of like where my mana'o stands, right? My mana'o is, okay, if we're going to be creative, making up things, Hawaiian things, first thing got to go down on that checklist is, are you Hawaiian? First thing on that checklist should be Hawaiian. Because yes, aloha is not for sale. Aloha poke is not for sale. Well, that should apply to our astronomy too. It should never just apply to just poke to your taste or aloha poke and all these materialistic things. The history of our names, the kaunas of our stars, our hokus, are very severe to us as we come from the Pleiades. And that's why we cannot allow a past. That's why we didn't put this on the chopping block, Kako. We put this on the thinking curb. So we think better. Yeah. Just because these are the people that are making millions doesn't make it standard practice. So the desecration on Mauna Kea where these things are occurring, they even wanted to bring down a telescope down to use down at these areas. And lo and behold, UH was the lead runners to initiate this. So this star name, these new names we're seeing, Homework, thank you for bringing it up. I think it was getting down to this way. I didn't know where it was going. First was demolished when turned down to take your rubbish down the mountain and give them to the Hawaiians. Then after the rubbish was there, then they renamed stars. So there's a lot of money being thrown around. And Aloha, Aina Aloha is another, what can you say?
Spin-off.
So spin-off.
We gotta keep track.
Homework.
We gotta keep track. We gotta keep the integrity of the mo'okuauhau in check, right? And so when people come representing certain things, creating new mana, who are they serving? What mo'okuauhau are they following, right? Nana ike kumu vai. Nana ike kumu ku'ai. Look to the source of the funding, guys. In this day and age where capitalism is so rampant, globalization, all these kind of smoking mirrors going on, 100-foot mirrors on the top of the mountain. Look to the source of the funding, right? Because we have to stay pa'a, oni pa'a ika oya i'o, like our kupuna said. Right?
With that being said, Homework, what a way to run it in to the freaking chopping block. Now,
we should make some new words too, right? What's the new Hawaiian word for propaganda? What's the new Hawaiian word for genocide?
Text them in, link them in the comment.
Colonialism.
Put it in the comment.
White supremacy, right? What is these Hawaiian words? How come we only making new words for serve an industry that rapes and pillages us?
Exactly.
Let's just keep that in mind.
Let's keep that in mind.
As we head into the chopping block, baby. Let's go.
We head into the chopping block. This week, Kamakau, we got to give you a tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Because you guys have caught a career criminal who actually, you guys got to check out this topic, Kako. He left the two women in the ocean with over $7,000 worth of illegal aquarium fishes. If this sounds familiar, you are right. That's what William Isla used to do as the chair of DLNR. Hey. But back to the subject again. We are back to it where we have finally caught somebody, Kamakau. Because if you cannot catch Isla, you got to catch the next best thing. And you guys did a good job. With that being said, I'm never going to give you a pass. This is a collusion. You guys catch who you guys want to catch. You guys play the game what you guys want to play, Kamakau. Never mind what you guys are doing. Catch everybody. Don't just catch the guys you guys know that are doing the bad deeds. Homework. DLNR.
Yeah, you know, like this particular case, they're talking about 235 fish or so, where they were tracking this guy, they were spying on this guy.
They had tabs on him.
And, so when he took his boat out, Steve Howard, the infamous Steve Howard from Kailua Kona.
Steve Howard.
57-year-old. Maybe, he's in the same age bracket
as Isla?
As Mr., Ailey. And so we just keep that in mind, guys. They're setting a precedent possibly with this, or they're creating a scenario where it says, hey, look at us, we did a good job, we've smashed these guys, we caught them in the act, we busted them. And that is very good, right? We appreciate that.
Got them.
Return the fishes back to where they belong. But like the national crisis has said, right? They pick and choose who they want to bust. Where's all the previous organized criminals that are now in other state departments? And where's all their bus? We're waiting on that bus.
Yes. Yes. So once again, Kako, be vigilant out there. Honokaha Harbor, never mind, there's a lot of fraud. Next week, we have an exclusive story to expose DLNR next week with fraudulent documents and frequent harassment over a native Hawaiian business that we will be covering next week or the following week with further agreement with the victim themselves, which is a native Hawaiian. If he was working, they would have got busted last year. But because this native Hawaiian has been wrongfully discriminated upon by DLNR down at the Honokaha Harbor, this is how these people get away. Go out there, Kako. Check out Honokaha Harbor with all the illegal structures. They can take down our libraries on Mauna Kea, right? They can take down our hales. But you know what? They should clean up Honokaha Harbor and all those rubbish dump half shacks that they got leaning over on the ground. Next up on the chopping block, we got, without further ado, we missed them last week, but it's this week we're going to get them. Honua.
Hey.
Gets rejected.
Damn.
Gets rejected twice by the PUC. We can all agree corruptions run thick. But as I'm listening to this engagement, I see that they're squatters. They were not allowed to build. They built anyway, without community consent. Then,
without following the
process, and you guys got to check out this guy, Mr. Lee. Yeah, Mr. Lee. I got to find this guy's name again, but this guy is a one piece of work. He goes ahead, violates the community, builds a multi-million-dollar energy saver without the consent of the community or the state, and he gets to keep his possession on the property. Isla, Kamakau, state of Hawaii. How come he didn't raid this guy? Yeah? This guy got so much to offer you guys. But you guys choose to go after shacks, people who are on death lists, right? You guys got a malamahu honua. This sue is ridiculous. Yeah? The talks person for KTA always running his gums and saying how we should support these 60 workers or 160 workers. We support all workers, and it shouldn't be at the price of discrimination upon people's community and environmental impacts that you guys will leave for decades. So with that being said, smash on PUC. Smash on. These guys need to understand how to follow the rules, how to follow the process, and stop being a freaking squatter. Homework.
Ooh. There you go. And we had first-hand evidence, right, of some of what was happening there. Things leaking into the ocean off of the cliffside there, and really that plant itself comes from a long history of corruption, desecration, mismanagement. Being that the plantation eras.
That's all sugarcane lands are supposed to be reverted back
to the Kanaka,
so,
right?
So yes, those are all our lands.
So instead of giving it back to Kanaka and providing a space for real farming and gardening and growth from our community, we have to bring the power pimps in, right? To take the old infrastructure and to bring in a new scheme to try to sell us back what's ours. And destroy the earth doing it. So I gotta say a shout out to, I believe it was who was it? Ililani,
yes,
right? Who went to Life of the Land.
Yes,
Life of the Land.
And to all the neighborhoods out there, Pepe Keo, Pai Pai Ko,
right.
Cousin Jarek, all you guys out there who was putting that pressure.
Yep.
Mahalo.
So they got the Hawaii Supreme Court to appeal and vacate what the PUC went ahead and they were lining everything up for these guys for the power pimps. Okay, here you go. Boom, took the community and these organizations to come together and stop it at the Supreme Court level, and then they vacated that decision, and then after that they rejected the waiver for competitive bidding. So it's like, they caught us. Whoop.
Now we gotta go back.
Pull them back. Okay, we'll get this back in line. Okay, here we go. And now everyone's watching. It's creating a scene, right? The community's getting involved. The workers are like, we like work. And, we like you guys work too, but we don't like you guys work for the pimps that is controlling and destroying our aina.
Next up on the chopping block, we got Kalamai. We have our first OHA wins lawsuit. Yeah. So it all depends. It all depends what you guys look at. Yeah. It depends how you guys look at the glass, half empty or half full, right? So with that being said, when we continue to look at OHA and the shit show that they have left behind to our communities, with springing from Bob Lindsay's nephew not even living on Moko Keave and making a big scene of lying to its constituents and to its outer islands and native Hawaiians alike. When you have OHA, where Kamana Opono sends a letter to the Secretary of Interior asking about the Kingdom of Hawaii still being in continuity, then you got all these cockroaches in the office pulling back the letter the next day. Yes, you heard me say that, Kako, cockroaches. Yeah? Cockroaches. Because these guys continue, they continue to always find a way, to justify their laziness, their incapable attitudes, and of course, never picking up a phone call. But soon enough, you're going to see them up on a pop-up Maveke show, Kako. With that being said, I don't buy none of that. Kako. Let's go.
Yeah, so, I mean, they earn a victory, and it's so funny because they have it on their own website, right? Promoting
the W.
Promoting this little W that they got. And it's just to get them so they don't have to give, to provide the information for the audit, right? That was a big hubbub the last few years, right? Because you guys been cashing out to all your friends and not picking up the phone call or
not
calling
even
back
picking up
the Kanakas who call you. Well, we know that firsthand, actually, here on Hawaii Island, how often the haves and the have-nots come into play with these kind of state processes, right? And how brown your nose, and how much meat you get in your coconut, pretty much, right? So anyway, I gotta give them a little bit of a tea leaf.
Lighten me up.
Because it's good to see that you guys are still promoting yourself, right, during this pandemic, and patting yourself on the back. There you go. But I get the kawila for you guys whenever you answer the phone call, right? So answer the call. We waiting. Please, we have a lot of solutions for you guys to consider here on Hawaii Island.
Kawila.
Anyway, let's not get too far.
Kawila.
Back to the chopping block.
Chopping up. Next one
nice
up.
Soft serve.
We got, but we see that was so heartbreaking to see our Department of Health, Mrs. Caretaker, we call her, whistleblower, because she took care of us and exposed the state. And with that being said, what is the laws that protect whistleblowers? Kako. That is the question on the first half of the block. And the reason why we ask that, what happens when an Aboriginal or a Native Hawaiian in the workplace says that they got violated? Nothing happens. But if you look at the whistleblower at Queens, a woman of color, she won a couple millions because of her exposure of the government and the corruptness that took place in the facility that led to their little harassment settlement. And then come forth a Department of Health Caucasian lady Oh, she gonna hit that bank, Kako. She gonna hit that bank, Kako. But how many other whistleblowers like us that have stepped forward, that has evidence to show the world, show the community, show the state? We never got compensated. They harass, they intimidate, they arrest. And that is why we must have to find a solution for our whistleblowers. Because our whistleblowers are a big, big part of a change that needs to happen.
Right.
Homework.
Keep blowing the whistle. Please keep
Like two shorts
blowing
in.
those whistles, right? Kanikapu if you got to. But yeah, I mean, there are actually laws that are supposed to protect whistleblowers in Hawaii. Just like there's laws to protect all kinds of things in the fake state of Hawaii, but the fake state doesn't actually follow those laws is the problem, right? So I think there's, what is this? HRS 378-62. So if you are an American or a native Hawaiian American, you could potentially utilize this law to try to protect yourself as a whistleblower. But the thing is, like you said, right? Like I said, these guys aren't going to follow their own law. They're not going to follow their own law. They've proven you have to actually challenge them, just to actually keep them accountable.
And not only that, yeah.
So, I mean, really, it goes beyond the scope of what a single whistleblower can do. We all have to rally to protect people who are blowing the whistle and start to Kako the message that they're putting out and keeping track that they're not being threatened, discriminated against, discharged, and so forth, right, for reporting these violations. Because this is a matter of taking care of one another, right? They want to talk about public safety and all this, right? But we need these guys to blow the whistle in order for us to operate correctly. The ripple effect of the corruption that happens within the state cannot be tolerated. So mahalo again, throwing the la'i out to the whistleblowers out there. And
remember,
we got to follow this issue a little bit more closely because there'll be more whistleblowing going on.
and remember what Uncle Too Short said. Blow the whistle.
The whistle.
So, next up, we've got our COVID. We got our COVID update to take us off the chopping block just for a bit.
Shake 'em up, shake 'em up.
Just for a bit, Kako. And the first COVID issue that we have this week, the KHON colonizer reports, right? KITV4 KHON colonizer reports that ole ka pao homeless sweet money. During the time of COVID, this is what they want to talk to us about, Kako. Ole pao kala for homeless sweep. You know, I have mixed feelings about that. One, mamaloho kanavai, yeah? Every kupuna kane wahine keiki may sleep on the side of the road for safety and may go about their day the next day.
Yo.
And then now we have these individuals crying about no more money for sweep. No need sweep if you have a solution, Kako. And the solution is continue to smash on the state who continues to look down upon our community at this time of pandemic and crisis. They look down, they villainize, they criminalize our people, our parents, our family members, our brothers, our sisters on the street, regardless of what the personal choices they have made over their life. No human, no kanaka shall live on the street during COVID-19 and expect to get swept by civil servants. Smashing on all level, that is no solution whatsoever for this COVID-19 freak out.
Yeah, fraudulent solution, right? It because the state, right, the fake state through David Ige, right, they put out the moratorium, right? They put out a moratorium for eviction protection, and they actually made all these headlines, right, because they extended it to the end of September. But we've seen the evictions occur over and over again
From the first month.
The sweeps of the homeless, right, of the houseless. Correct me.
Yes.
But if you look at the details, right, why are these things happening to the homeless? Why are these people happening to the Kanaka on the streets, in the bush, right? Well, you look at the details of Mr. Ige's eviction moratorium, right? And he's talking about a moratorium for renters, right? So people who are unable to pay for their rent. Oh, there's a moratorium on that kind of eviction, right? The state's not going to come in and evict you guys, right?
Yes.
But homeless Kanaka, right? People who are having to deal with the pandemic, the reality of this situation, right? In the worst, you know, with the odds stacked against them already. Now dealing with a pandemic in a time of a crisis, you know, people are going without right now. And the state is okay and actually putting funds towards sweeping the homeless out and going after these very volatile areas or these very high risk, at risk communities. And that is a huge smash. I have to smash this one hard. How pilau of you, state, to pretend you're doing something good with an eviction moratorium for renters, people who you guys getting paid for, right? That's what it's all about, money, right? While you guys sweep the Kanaka under the rug. Smash these clowns.
Smashing on these monkeys, man.
Pisses me off.
So next one up, man, on the COVID-19 freakout, we've got Dr. Green Thumb.
19 freakout.
Sorry.
I like that.
COVID-19 freakout. So big news, Kako. So after, can we say it? After a false negative occurred, how it occurs
within
the state of Hawaii, right? We have such a
within the department,
within
right?
the department.
So
the whistleblower, right? The whistleblower who says insufficient production, insufficient testing. If you guys remember, I know we got amnesia out there, Kako, because the first week, remember when the first batch came in, right? The first month, the first batch of testing, what happened? Never worked. The first batch was bunk. The drug dealer gave you bunk batch.
Cost big bucks.
Not only cost big bucks, then they did a federal violation by shutting down a federal highway to do the testing. And this is what we bring to you today, Kako. After a false negative in Dr. Green's office, false negative. If there's one, there's many more like that. So, with that being said, I got to smash on these false negatives because the truth is coming to light. When you guys continue to play and do these false flags and do all of these crisis acting, right? This is what's going to happen. You're not going to be able to justify the stupidity that you guys are doing during this pandemic. And that's what's going to expose you on the dark side. Homework. False negative.
You know, who do you trust from the state? You know, because the most honorable one, it looked like the most honorable one during all of this, he got kind of chopped up and thrown under the bus.
Dr. Green Thumb was the honest one.
And now he ends up with the COVID.
Or we thought he maybe had.
He might have a negative.
Maybe somebody pump fake that test.
A false negative. But see, if that's happening at the highest levels of the state, these people who are tasked with caring for us, that just speaks to the negligence of this state. That just speaks to the negligence of this administration, right? And they can't even protect their star quarterback over there, right? They can't even protect or the backup quarterback, you know? The guy calling all the plays for them with the headsets on. They can't even keep him safe on the sideline, right? So, you know, we gotta smash these guys, but I want to send some, you know, some pule and some tea leaf, some cleansing out to Dr. Green, right, from Kona.
Dr. Green.
While I don't appreciate you selling the, you know, the industrial medical kind of support to our people, I really appreciate, you know, his forthcoming, honest sort of approach to this whole thing, even when it went against Ige. So I gotta send some tea leaves over to Josh Green. Get better soon.
Dr. Green Thumb, get
all
better.
All the Kanaka out there who have positive tests or false positive tests, you know, we sending our tea leaf out to you guys, sending our pule.
Yes, Kako. Let's finish it up strong. Back half of the chopping block. where we always try to give you guys the best uplifting back half of a first shitty half. First one up we got is none less than the Ocala illegal dump.
Ocala.
Ocala.
Oh my gosh, look at that
Ocala.
picture.
So Ocala's rubbish dump, Kako.
They're gonna call them Opala pretty soon.
Yeah, no. I almost say Ocala. So if you guys listen to the news, a bunch of horse shit that the state defense had said yet. They said the ammunition they found has no negative impact upon the environment or animals or people. Whew. This almost sounds like last week's Pohakuloa extension, right? This is live rounds of ammunition, exploded ammunition, gun shells, whatever you have. This is only what they're reporting. It's all in Ocala. This is right next door to the cattle all the feces was going through the rivers, right? This is the issues that we're talking about, Kako. Yeah, that all of these things are happening out in Ocala, right? All in Ocala, and there's more than just that dairy problem with all the kukai was rolling down without the proper management to environmental. Now you have the military tag teaming. This is something right out of a WWE Royal Rumble Classic, right? You got the environmental kukai selection in the waters of a natural pee-pee, and then you have ammunition from the world's heaviest pilau industrial complex in the world going around and dumping their rubbish out in Pu'ukapu, out in Maku'u, Homestead, all over the Hawaiian homestead lands, right? So that only gets to tell me one thing. Ocala belongs to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, right? I'm guessing, right? Because that's the only place military dumps their rubbish and ammunition. I can't see any other place that continues to have this kind of brazen attitude of the military to dump ammunitions on an open field, Kako. This will never be a solution. This will be a collusion and a smash.
Yeah, looks
ammunition, military, this mix for a beautiful scheme.
It's not just spilled milk out in Ocala, right?
Spilled milk already.
The milk's gone bad, baby.
It's not just cookies and milk. It's ammunitions and gunpowders now.
Right. Not just smoking mirrors, right? But freaking doo-doo and freaking everything. Unexploded ordinances. So we like to call out, the Kanaka, and we should continue to hold the Kanaka, the individuals in our community, the Pilau ones who like to take their rubbish to the end of the road or to the bushes or wherever, right, and just dump them because whatever reason. Right?
No. They seen people do it.
Right.
So now we see why people just dump. If the military can dump and the state of Hawaii can dump,
that's what I was just
then you can dump.
I was just
gonna say. Don't listen to me.
They were trained by the professionals is what I was going to say. We got to keep those guys accountable. But let's not create a whole hubbub just about those people. Right. It comes from a culture and an industry, right? These industrial pimps out there, wheeling and dealing oftentimes on Hawaiian homelands, right? And then, their contract's up. They didn't get renewed. They got another hot spot somewhere else or whatever it is, right? Boom, they're out. They leave their rubbish, all their infrastructure, whatever, right? Pilau. I mean, the plantations out here was one thing, but you got the military with Pohakuloa, PTA, right? And all the different military installations on Hawaii Island. There's over 50. People don't realize. It's all over the place, though. Yeah. Their Opala is all over the place. Hawaiian homes here, Hawaiian homes there, Hawaiian homes there, ag lands over here, Pico of the Mauna over there, beaches down there, right? Yeah. So we're talking about everywhere is just this dump for
even in the waters out in Waianae, even out Waianae, right? The Waianae coast out there, right? Missile shells, right? All of those things still in the water where our kikis swim, where we get our mea'ai. I mean, this cannot be good news, Kako. One thing is to dump on the property you leasing. One thing is to have courage to dump them out in one pasture in the middle of fucking nowhere, Kalamayao.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So just another ugly head, rearing right now. in our communities. But look at the bigger picture. It comes from a culture and a system.
Culture.
That not just, promotes it, but, celebrates it to some extent. Like freedom ain't free. We got to keep bombing. We got to invite all our friends to do it. So
Yes.
from the top down, we need to clean house. Everybody.
Top down,
Let's
clean house.
it up.
And the next one we're going to clean out,
Who we
made
got?
the news again, as always. We
need
let
a
them
dust
sneak
fan
out.
over here. We need a dust fan, not just a smash block.
So we got these two knuckleheads, right? Let me get a better picture of these freaking knuckleheads. Yeah, there's not a lot of bad apples, in the bunch, but they just seem to keep on falling out the tree, Kako. Yeah, and people tell, oh, well, you gotta trust this. I would trust if the illegal occupation didn't take its course. Yeah? If the illegal occupation never take its course, then I know the oath of allegiance or the oath to protect and serve would not be an unmarked, regular V6 Mustang sitting on the side of the road without a blue bubble on top of it. Kako. That's the issue we have, right? These cops, these two employees among suspects accused of robbery, off duty, goes into a community home. You know how much homes? We don't even know how much homes. If this is one, they went in, they shook them down, right? Come back, find out these guys are part of the team. Just like the officer that gets away with the rape in Honolulu of a 5-year-old. Just like Officer Kealoha and his wife, the lead prosecutor. Just like Mr. Miller up here taking cocaine, right? These things is not an isolated event. These things, Kako, these things are exactly what it's meant to be. It's basically a scheme within a scheme. The true criminals are the criminals who don't wear body cams, right? When things are burning down, why is a public watcher, spectator, are the only ones to record? Where are the body cams? Why isn't the body cams watching a burning Hilo police cell block going down? Why isn't the camera on when these people are around? Yeah,
Controlled narratives.
these guys are criminals. They're animals, and you know what? Until the illegal occupation is solved with Oya I'o, I'm gonna smash on every one of you crisis actors that swore your oath of allegiance to a foreign government that took our families' lands and identities and our national treasures to exploit.
Mm-hmm.
And that I will never, ever respect.
Of course not. Yeah, for me, I look at it as, just like I've said in the past, right? These are the fall guys for the state. The state loves to have these kind of characters in the system doing their bidding, right? And turning a blind eye when things are happening that they can get away with. But as soon as something slips up and somebody needs to take a fall or somebody gets caught, then these guys are the fall guys. And then it's like, oh, this is just one bad apple in the bunch. No, the apple tree is poisoned. The apple tree is GMO, right? We're not supposed to grow apples over here, right? We get mountain apple or the AI,
right?
But these guys get rotten apples. Okay, and they still trying to get us for drink the juice.
The tree is rotten. You said it.
The tree is rotten.
The tree is rotten. So all the fruits that are hanging on the tree, Kako, don't tell me about the great personalities you have.
Right.
Show me about your great track record that your team has.
Right.
I don't want to hear how much people you save. I want to see how much people you guys have incriminated wrongfully based on bias.
Yeah. So we need to see some before you guys get thrown under the bus now. These kind of individuals within the system doing the bidding of the fake state. Before you guys get thrown under the bus, have your out. Have your freaking snapshot. Be ready, because we need to expose your bosses. We got to help do that.
All of these officers that are coming out homework, right? All these officers are coming out busted, sexual violations, theft, whatever, whatnot. Whoever had got a ticket or got arrested from them should instantly have that wiped off. If any cop has domestic violence against their wife or whatnot, or their spouse or anybody, and you got violated by this individual, we should definitely smash on these people and get these guys out of here.
So you're speaking to, a really big point too, and that's police reform. We need to do policing a new way, because right now it's just doing the bidding, for the fake state, for the pimps, right?
Protect yourself at all times.
And even those Kanaka who are in there doing that work, right? Making those sacrifices, they're the ones that are gonna get thrown on the chopping block by the state too, in the end, if they need to be. So, let's do some police reform. Let's push for that. And any candidate who's not pushing for police reform,
yes, any candidate that doesn't. So that's you, Mrs. Wiley Ballard, right? You don't see discrimination, right? You don't see any other color but your color, and that's why we gotta smash on you.
And the mayor candidates as well here in Hawaii County, right? We gotta pay attention to what they're saying. We don't want to see more policing if there's not gonna be a reform. These guys are talking about having more police, more safety during all of this. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people getting ticketed for meeting quotas, like in Honolulu. There was an article about that as well. But I digress. Get back on track here.
That's good. Right? That's good. These guys are extorting, right? We're on that.
The main thing, you guys, is we have to keep each other honest, because the corruption is systemic.
Corruption is systemic. And the last two, before we hit you goodbye, we have to go after the rail. Kako. Monkey doodle, monkey do. Ige and his shit show continues, the dung beetle. They want $2 billion on top of the billions they already acquired. This guy's is Kenji Price. That's all I gotta ask for is Kenji Price. Where you at, dog? Where you at, Kenji? Get these cockroaches. Look at these guys. You know what they did with the pool of money. You see the first guy from the industrial laborers leave. What do you think he left for? Oh, his grandpa and grandma guys got the PU money. They got the pool of money. Come on, Kenji. We're drawing them out for you. Let's not be weird about the subject. Let's just be honest.
And this one, shucks, the never-ending tab.
The never-ending tab.
This is the never-ending story.
2 billion was not even the number. It was 1. 1 went to 2. Now you're less than halfway done. You need 2 to complete the less than halfway done. 2
more. This is like
2
7,
more,
8,
Kako.
9 billion.
2 more.
Right? Like, so we can't even keep track. That's the part of the confusion. They just popping out every week. There's a new number that they got to add. Oh, add another billion.
Kako.
Oh, we're getting a new guy. They need a cut, right? So I want to see the pie chart. Can somebody give me the pie chart for the rail? Can I see the pie chart, please? I want to see who took the big piece. How much of it went to contractors?
How much went to Moofy Banana Hands?
For consultations and all this non-work related kind of things, right? How much of it was squandered in between the cracks along the way?
Moofy Banana
Who got
Hands?
the pie chart, please? Who got the pie chart? Alexi.
Homework. I like that. Just give me the pie chart, because Moofy Banana Hands was sliming all over that Palusami. And then you still got all these other guys running around. With that being said, smash them, Honolulu.
Banana cream pie.
Hale kakueheva.
Banana hand cream pie.
Tell me what you guys want to do about this. Because this is happening in Honolulu, we all have this effect on us.
Right.
So, Kako, let us know how we can Kako this. Because of that bill going up down there, we getting the bill up here. And we don't appreciate that. So if we got to go down there, we got to make some noise, let's make it happen. Last up, we got 2. Usually, we break it up. But because of the significant issues that's been taking place, right, simultaneously, we want to start off with Uncle Keamoku Kapu first. Uncle Keamoku Kapu and the families up in Maui has been vigilant on many stages on basically their kuleana. And with their kuleana being overrun by development, been running by separate, how can you say it? Separate different entities, private entities. So these things are blooming all over. We have EVs, we have burial tombs, right? That they're walking around, they're showing us, Kako. They're showing us what's out there. They're letting you know that could be your kupuna out there, yeah? all of these works that are happening around their ahupua'a within their moku needs to have their EIS, needs to have these approval, because there are EVs all over these areas. Some people don't even know their families have it there. But with that being said, Kako, I just urge you guys to go ahead and, check out Uncle Keamoku Kapu and the vigilancies that their families have been doing out there. Not just only with the wrong placement of construction during COVID-19 in our natural resource precious areas, but also in your ahupua'a, where your kupunas are resting. Yeah? Be that voice for them. Be that voice. Be that oya i'o. Stand up. Even though there's COVID, mask up and stand up. Don't let this fucking COVID allow you not to mask up and get in front of these officers' face. Some of these officers don't even have masks. So what does that tell you? They don't know the laws to the land. They don't know the laws of federal CDC. And they don't know any safety precautions to what's going on. And it's up to you, Kako, Keamoku guys.
They're acting with impunity,
but,
right?
But educate them, like Uncle Keamoku. Educate them.
Right.
Educate them in their face.
We know these guys will act corruption. They won't with corruption, right? They won't follow their own due process. They'll go outside of their bounds.
Mask up, and stand up.
Right.
Mask up and stand up.
Keep the cameras.
Keep the camera rolling. Mask up, 6 feet apart. Don't let them bust you for any stupid incident of a violation of a CDC, which they're violating. You mask up, you press record, and you be vigilant. And you continue to inspire us, Maui Nui Akama, going out there, being vigilant, showing our ohana, our kupuna. Even if you don't know that was yours, we were moved by that, by this transparency. And we'll continue to post out this kaimana'o every time it's being put in out there for our lahui. Because we believe it's important to protect kupuna iwi, to be on kuleana lands, and to know your EIS when the government is trying to run down these phony lines in your property for the safety and betterment of your kupuna, your keiki, and your historic preservation and dignity.
Yeah. What I see is unregulated, rampant, capitalism continuing here in the state of Hawaii, right? They're developing and they're putting new lines in. So this particular issue, right? Keamoku Kapu out in Maui, Lahaina over there, he's having to do extra. He's having to be extra vigilant, not only on his kuleana parcels, but in the community and in these very, these unique places, right, throughout our Pai'aina, but in his community where there may be EV, where there are protections that the state is supposed to be following through on, right?
Yeah, he showed them. He showed you guys.
These guys without permits, without notice, without anything, right? Just because they know they can get away with it.
COVID-19, that's why.
They start drilling.
Yes.
They start developing. They start putting in improvements, right? And, and so really this is happening all across the Pai'aina right now. It's hard to keep track of what's happening really with the state because they're using this kind of pandemic to do their job, to do kind of their dirty work, and get away with it, unregulated. So again, mahalo to Keamoku Kapu and the ohana out there who are keeping vigilant, who are
persistent,
showing us that we can have a say and we can stop these guys in their tracks, even though they already dug up the hole and laid the pipe. Right, you got to show up there and stop it from any further desecration, right? And not just over there on Maui, but
we got the next one up, our last one, where we jump straight into our brother.
We're getting attacked on so many levels, you guys, in the community, individually, on our parcels, by the banks, by the collaborators and the conspirators. So really, the best thing we can do is keep the camera rolling, link us in, right?
And then now we up to
expose the corruption.
Punohu.
So yeah.
Where Punohu,
I heard this poo coming out of Kauai.
we caught them.
Yeah.
We caught Isla guys like this with their pants down. So we had to put this up to them.
Right. Ooh, boat cutter Betty. What is her name? Julie Black or something.
Julie Black. Right? We got her.
Working for the man, right? Working for the banks. Oh, poor thing.
So we see Julie with a locos on. Right, she got the natural locos with the half slit, with the loco shades, the matching loco shades, and with the
I like the hamburger stripes though.
with the
on the
hamburger
side,
stripes.
right?
She would look like that when she gotta go to jail for trespassing and cutting out of people's property, right?
Hey, she got the freaking suit on. Hey.
Punohu, once again, Punohu,
Like a
thank you
criminal.
for updating us, keeping us connected,
Hey,
right?
look, the imposter Rasta, right?
The imposter Rasta.
Oh, look at that. That looks like a nice disguise you got on there coming in to
Right.
violate a Kanaka and his inalienable rights.
Right. So
that's
this
the face,
story,
that's the face of it right now.
this story was a little bit different because Punohu caught this individual finally cutting the locks. I mean, we knew what she was doing.
Did it a few times.
But
right?
to let the animal out, to let our pua'as out, to let all of these things happening.
Underhanded tactics.
Those are the issues that we have, yeah.
Must get paid lots, yeah, from the bank to do that kind.
We get paid.
Or they just stringing them along, like, yeah, we're gonna give you a cut if you do this, right?
Look as she goes over with those massive biceps of a colonizer. Yeah, that's what colonizers look like. They don't come out big and muscular.
They just got the tools.
They got the tools.
They got the expensive
See,
tools
you
and
thought.
the disguise.
We thought she had a key to the house.
Oh,
That's what I thought. She thought. We thought. But Punoho caught her again, and that looks like her key.
Both
Her key,
colors.
right? Still the sign.
Edward
Look at this,
Scissor Hands over here.
Mrs. Scissor's hand.
Hey, go clean up the yard if you're gonna do that a little bit too, right? Mulch the aina, go feed the pigs.
Right.
Oh God.
And that's why these things, Punohu, just like Uncle Keamoku Kapu,
Pretty
encouraging.
little thieves. Pretty little thieves, right?
Continue to take the pictures, continue to be on the site, because there ain't no real news
That's
like
what-
first-hand news.
That's what.
So I don't want to hear nobody reporting about what he said, she said on a long text of a Photoshop. I want to see Punoho catching this lady in the rubber band stands. See this picking pineapple stands?
Right.
That's what I wanted to
And
see.
really, what he's doing too is documenting the process, which is why we have to pay attention to what's going on. He's documenting the process, and because he's gonna need it in court. Right?
Yes.
He's gonna show all of these different violations. It's gonna
Right.
show you, bro. I gave you notice. I gave you the pala pala.
Right.
We went through this process, but you guys continue to
Petty.
break your own laws and to push forth with underhanded, undermined tactics.
Petty. This
In
is
order
true
to
petty.
steal from Hawaiians, right? They can't even follow their own process in this particular instance, which would require them to go to court. The banks
The
have
process.
to prove that they own the property. The judge rules on it, yada yada, right? And that's a whole fraudulent system right there too. But that's the process they have to go through, and they're not going through it. They're cutting locks. They're digging up Iwi Kupuna.
This is
They're
her-
sweeping out homeless people, right? And this is all because of the fake state of Hawaii. I gotta give it to them.
And there you
Tip my
guys
cap
have
to
it
those buggers.
for this
Tip my
week's
cap to those buggers.
chopping block. Once again,
This is a rapid
thank you
shot,
for
baby.
turning in. And before we wrap it up, we got two more spots. Our constitutional oath breakers, where we look at all the F-ups that the state of Hawaii gives up, right? The state of Hawaii every week shows its color. And this week, I gotta go with the constitutional oath breaker, which is the two knuckleheads that are hired by HPD to go in and raid our kupuna and our community members whenever they feel like the urge of becoming a gangster. So with that being said, all of you people who are not those individuals, hold these people accountable. You see them in the locker room, measuring, standing, right? El suave. Check them. Make sure that these people don't hurt your family. If not, they could run up into your papa's house unidentified. And that's what we cannot have. My constitutional oath breakers are the oath breaker holders themselves, HPD, Louis Kealoha, and the rest of the knuckleheads.
I like to usually go straight to the top of the cat in the hat for this one, as
Right.
you guys know. Because
Keep the streak alive. Keep the streak alive.
It all comes from the top of that pyramid, right?
Keep the streak alive. Who's the streak winner?
Trickle-down economics and corruption that pervades all the other industries and agencies and communities that have to live under this fraudulent system, right, of control and domination, right? So I usually like to hit the top of the cat in the hat, but I'm gonna go a little ways down a little bit today. I want to make a special shout out to the judges, right? the judges out there.
Yeah.
The circuit court judges, appellate court judges, Supreme Court judges, but especially the district court, the lower courts, right? You guys, I'm making a special shout out to you folks.
Fools.
Holding Uncle Sam's hand as you guys try to control us here in Hawaii and trample on our rights as Kanaka, as Aboriginal Hawaiians in our country of origin, ignoring our national rights, right? And continuing to say there's no other way but the state of Hawaii's way. There's no other way to do this but this way. And when we go to court, they're telling us that too. You may say you're not American, yada, 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 but this is the only process that we can go through. I challenge that, and I think all of us out there need to start challenging it and start exposing that on a base level in the courts, right? So that's what I'm going to be working on as well with some of my cases. For you folks out there who need an extended media coverage pass, reach out to us when your cases are coming up. Explain to us what kind of things you're going through as a Hawaiian national, challenging their lack of jurisdiction because they have no jurisdiction. Here in Hawaii, no subject matter jurisdiction, no personal jurisdiction. They have no treaty of annexation. They have no integrity because they won't look at the facts. They will only push their political process. And they'll tell you that this is a political question they can't answer in the courts, but they'll still try to throw you through the meat grinder. So again, I want to make a special shout out to the judges. Don't be the constitutional oath breakers that you've been for the state of Hawaii. Please change the course of history so that we as Kanaka, as the Aboriginal people of these lands, right, can start to stand on the foundation that has been set for all of us, right? The law, the true law, follow the law, the international law, the human rights laws, right? The Universal Declaration of Human Rights that says we have a right to our nationality, regardless of your recognition of our country, which you did through treaties, right? Look at the other documents out there that enshrine our rights, right? And start protecting us and honoring that. Otherwise, you guys are up next on the chopping block.
Chop, chop, chop.
Choppy.
Without further ado, before we shut down everything, this week was a pretty rough week this week, Kako. But you know what? Because of your guys' persistence and keeping us engaged and keeping us connected, that's how we've been able to get it going, man. Because the state of Hawaii, the fake state, is continuing to screw up every week, and we cannot catch all of them, but we will look at our community, look at our ohana to make sure that we get those information out. And with that being said, Homework, do you have any last words of encouragement for this week before we get into our rapid aloha and we give our aloha out to our sponsors?
Yeah, I mean, on the same note, I guess I wanna give a rapid aloha shout out to all the Hawaiian nationals out there, all the Kanaka Maoli, all of our allies as well, our partners in honor, not crime, in honor, right? Because we're upholding the justice and addressing the injustice here in the fake state of Hawaii. So shout out to all you Hawaiian nationals out there protesting in the criminal injustice system of the fake state of Hawaii, right? Going into that layer to protest their lack of jurisdiction. And I just want to throw a couple pointers out there, right, for you guys. Make sure you guys remember, right, an unlawful conversion has been committed against you.
Yes.
That's perpetuating a continuous constructive fraud since the day you were born, and they gave you your fake pala toilet paper, the birth certificate, right? And every other contract that they try to get you to contract to them with, right? Sign this form, waive this right, go through this, otherwise you go in jail, otherwise you might get threatened. It's an operative of fear.
Yes.
That these guys operate on and try to control us on. So we stay in our greatest aloha, right? We stay in our greatest aloha because truth is the wellspring. Oya i'o is the wellspring, the truth. And aloha is the vai, that ka'ili akuai that we spread around. Ha'ali'i aku I ka aina nehi, right? Truth is the wellspring. Love is the water. And so I'm sending some love out to all you Kanaka out there going into the lion's den or the sheep's den, if you will. and kicking some Ocala. Keep kicking them.
Right, yes. Rapping aloha, bite the eye for always taking care of your Kanaka Ohana out there. Check him out. He's always out from Thursday out, sometimes occasionally anytime earlier. So if you guys have a chance, check him out,
They
cousin.
up today. They up
They up today.
in the
Spin by
homestead.
before you run out. He's in the homestead. Get him while you can. Once his property is up, he's never going to be back in Hilo again. Get it while it's close.
They, never got the gas bunk fish, right? So stop getting the bunk from the state, guys. Get back to your communities, your neighborhoods, the kingdom of Ko Hawaii Pai Aina.
Homesteady.
Get some real fish. Get
Kanaka
some
kava.
real food.
Kanaka Kava or Olympics this
You know
week.
how it goes. It's the equinox this week.
Equinox
So
this week.
A special pule and shout out to all you guys aligning yourself during this Pico Wakea, right? Where Wakea is right above. And right here we stay on the middle of Wakea, Mauna Wakea. So let's stay aligned, guys. Let's watch the sunrise. Let's give our pules. Let's set the path into the Aupolohiwa Kanaloa, Ke Alapolohiwa Kanaloa, into the solstice. As we dive into the depths,
Yes.
let's bring out our greatest aloha, our strongest truths, and meet everyone face to face.
Alo
right?
to alo.
Alo to alo.
Yes.
What, knuckle to knuckle. Let's go. Let's go.
Alo to alo.
Oh.
Mahalo Ohana.
And keep banging.
Episode 44, Darkside of Hawaiian Politics. Mai Kapo. Ahuiho.
We never serving spam. We never got the artificial sweetness. No anti-calories, no gummy worms, shortbread cookies or American milk. No choreograph, no military funding. Straight from the Na'au. You guys already know. We have to. Our kupuna held the standard. Aloha aina oia i'o. Love you guys.